So joining us today on Seamless Xtra is Jorge Carrasco, a blockchain and Web3 expert. Jorge is managing director for a global business consultancy called FTI Consulting. He heads FTI's blockchain and digital assets practice here in the Middle East. Jorge, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Pleasure to be here.
Now, just for our viewers, maybe you can begin by telling us a little bit about FTI Consulting, what it is that you do, and how long you've been operating in the region.
Yes, so FTI Consulting is an American consulting firm, publicly traded in the US. We are right now over 8,000 employees all over the world, in all the continents. And the company does many things from corporate finance to strategic communications. In my case, I sit in the technology segment, and in the technology segment, what we do is using emerging technologies to support businesses and governments to embrace these technologies. In my case, I am part of the blockchain and digital assets practice, and in the blockchain and digital assets practice, which is present all over the world, we support businesses in the digital assets space to set up, to relocate on strategy engagements, on product development. And we support also businesses that are not crypto related, like corporate companies, government entities, in their understanding and adoption of blockchain technology. So I've been in the region for around 9 years, and 6 of them working in the blockchain and digital assets space in the UAE.
Jorge, in the last 12 months, I think in particular, I've seen a growing number of firms expanding their digital assets infrastructure here in the MENA region. And I think especially in the UAE, many see it as a hub and a gateway for the rest of the world, for the region, and also Africa. What is it about the UAE and Dubai in particular that makes it such an attractive place for digital asset innovation right now?
So, Mark, I think there are many factors for that. The first one maybe is that we are in a very pro-business environment. Not just that the businesses that relocate or establish here experience low taxes, but also that there are multiple options. There are multiple free zones that are trying to tailor packages for these businesses to set up, to tailor the different trade licenses for different businesses, and they are providing also a very good ecosystem support. So there are multiple free zones, for example, in the Emirate of Dubai that have specialized frameworks for digital assets companies and provide all the different additional services that these companies need to operate. Also, we have a progressive regulatory environment, right? So when digital assets companies look for places all over the world to establish, they try to look for places where the regulators will sit and discuss about their business models, where the regulators will understand about their business models. And here in the UAE, so there were some regulatory bodies that they were pioneers many years ago about issuing regulations in digital assets. And we have, for example, the Regulatory Authority for Virtual Assets in Dubai, known as VARA, Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, that is the first regulator in the world specialized, and their only purpose is regulate digital assets activity. So this tells about the level of the understanding that the regulatory bodies have here in the Middle East. Also, there is a very important play around the ecosystem. So there are there is a big talent pool on blockchain and digital assets. So this means that companies that come here, they will find developers on blockchain matters. They will find people specialized in compliance around digital assets. They will find people that have been working on different businesses around digital assets and know about this industry. And the last thing, but not less important, is the geographical location. So we are in a place where in a 5 hours flight, you can reach around 40% of the global population, right? This is an ideal place to serve Europe, maximum 7-8 hours flight from here. 3 hours different max as well. You can serve African countries. Many of them are growing a lot and massive population over there. The whole Middle East and Saudi is growing a lot. And so many people decide to stay in Dubai or UAE to serve the whole Middle East from here. And also India and other countries around that. So there are multiple reasons why digital assets companies are finding UAE as the perfect place or the best place to establish.
Just in terms of the regulatory landscape, then, as you mentioned, would you say it's that support that the regulatory bodies are showing for startups, for fintechs, for blockchain companies here? Would you say it's that the support and that kind of collaboration, that openness they have to listening, to collaborating, that's a real strength and that helps it stand out from other parts of the world?
Yes, so for 2 reasons. One is that they started long ago. So we have regulatory regimes around digital assets that date back 2018, 2019. So also the regulators have been learning how to, what are the needs of the companies that come to get regulated? What are the demands of the market in that regard? And they have been evolving. So also the regulators here take a friendly approach in terms of consultation papers. They involve digital assets companies to learn how to regulate those businesses. And also they try to regulate, or they try to understand areas that probably in other areas of the world, they are not yet part of the regimes. Like we have examples in decentralized finance. So there are regulators here exploring how to regulate decentralized finance, how to regulate decentralized autonomous organizations, that are new ways in which market associations can combine and work together. There are also regimes for DLT foundations of distributed ledger technology companies that find a legal wrapper and an ecosystem here to establish. So, and even if there are business models or activities that are not regulated yet, the good thing is that the regulators will sit and discuss how to regulate these businesses, right? But this is the good part. The challenges, let's say, that the companies find is that sometimes the regulatory effort, or the effort required to get regulated and to get those licenses and to go through the process, is sometimes underestimated. So it's true that you can establish and progress as a business here in the Middle East, but that doesn't come so easy. So there is a long regulatory process, and sometimes many months, that companies do not expect in advance, where you need to meet a lot of requirements from the regulators in terms of market conduct, consumer protection, risk management, technology infrastructure requirements, and that requires businesses to work and to take seriously this process, because there will be a lot of information, sometimes 40, 50, 60 different policies, documents that you need to report across different domains of your business, so that the regulator understands that it's safe for you to operate in the environment.
Now, for businesses then looking to expand their digital infrastructure in this region, if I was to ask you to give them some advice about developing a strategy for this, what are some of the key things you would tell them to consider?
So first would be probably to conduct a regulatory analysis. So we have multiple regulators, multiple jurisdictions. Each and every one of these regulators regulate activities in a certain way and regulates within a certain area. So the companies planning to relocate here, they need to assess what are these options, what is fitting more for them, what will be the boundaries that these regulators will allow them to operate, and understand pretty well how that is going to look like for them. That is the first thing. The second thing is doing a proper market research. So are there any other similar companies operating in the space? What are the challenges that they have faced? How are the different ecosystem is going to look like for them? what are the options to get, for example, banking services, insurance services, what is the right free zone or on land onshore setup that will work with them, right? Then that is probably before coming here and understanding the ecosystem here. But then if you are coming or if you are already around exploring how to set up your business, there are a couple other recommendations. One of them would be community engagement. So there are multiple gatherings, events, roundtables, and where the ecosystems gathers together. And particularly the companies that I've seen navigating successfully through all this environment and complexity, they have taken a very proactive approach in terms of engaging with the community, because there will be a lot of people that can support you on many ways, right? And linking with this is the strategic partnership side. So relocating to the Middle East has a specific culture, specific way of doing business, a specific structure in terms of how the government is structured, in terms of how the different businesses support each other. So strategic partnerships is something that I would recommend also to look into for these businesses. Finding people that have been in the region for a while, that understands how the different ecosystem operates, that understands how the different options to support these businesses. And this sometimes means hiring local talent. So hiring a person that to support relocating, to support managing the operations, at least at the beginning. This will be very important.
Now, which brings me on to my final question. I'm going to ask you just to take a look at it from the end user point of view, digital assets and blockchain. It's obviously a rapidly evolving space. If you were to look ahead, maybe 5-10 years down the line, in terms of the application and the services that this can provide, whether that's for banks or the fintechs, investors maybe, or any other enterprise, where do you expect the biggest demand for this technology to come from in that time?
Yeah, so probably is the same story that we have been hearing for the last few years, but still the financial institutions are the ones that can obtain more benefits out of this technology from multiple angles. Like once the central bank digital currencies will be released by the central banks, the financial institutions will benefit a lot from that in terms of facilitating the transfer of money, lowering the fees, issuing stable coins to provide further services and further benefits to their customers. Also, as cryptocurrencies become more regulated and have wider adoption, financial institutions have a golden opportunity to provide custody services or other type of services around these cryptocurrencies. So there are multiple, and also the tokenization of some of their assets, right? So real estate that is belonging to banks or bonds or treasury bills, etc., that by tokenizing them, you can open them to other customer categories. So in the financial industries in general, there are so many opportunities. Some of them are realizable today, so some of them are actionable today. Some of them require for some regulations to come or some steps from the government to come, but there's still many benefits in that space. Then companies with a wider customer base, like retail, hospitality, entertainment. So they are looking for new ways to engage with the existing audiences and with the new audiences, the new generations, right? So Web3 and NFTs and combining that with gamification and collectibles, and these collectibles opening new experiences or new discounts or new services from these companies, that is like a new, fresh way to engage with these customers. So we see more and more how companies are looking for looking into Web3 and NFTs and token gated communities to engage with these customers, right? Then a third area will be what is called real world assets tokenization. So real estate, commodities, digital art, infrastructure projects that by tokenizing the property and instead of looking for these are traditionally illiquid assets, right? Because they need investments of large amounts. But by tokenizing them, you can sell portions of that. And by establishing the right marketplaces, like people that wants to have exposure to real estate investments, but probably don't have the money to buy an entire property, they will start being able to buy a fraction of that property, a fraction of a painting, a fraction of a gold reserve, a fraction of intellectual property rights on a movie. So all these things will become, I believe, normal in the future, so that people can allocate their funds and allocate their investments into so many other categories thanks to tokenization. And the last part, now that artificial intelligence is, let's say, everywhere, and companies are using more and more artificial intelligence comes with certain challenges as well, like where all the information that the artificial intelligence is combining is coming from, how artificial intelligence is accessing the different data sources. So blockchain and digital assets can provide safe rails for this artificial intelligence to operate, can bring, let's say, fences to this data, to this artificial intelligence operate, so that an artificial intelligence algorithm can check against a blockchain identity of a company or a person that is prompting certain information, and then provide information that is reliable, trustworthy, auditable, traceable in terms of what that algorithm has done. So there are multiple areas, but one thing is that still a lot of education is required. So a lot of education about what are the benefits that blockchain can bring, why applying blockchain versus other technologies, and when blockchain and digital assets is the right technology. So we are still working a lot in that education piece, but we see that the businesses that start understanding about this are exploring this in many interesting ways.
Okay, Jorge, there's so much happening. Even from this interview, I can see there's so much happening in this space and going to continue to happen over the next few years. Thank you for sharing your insights on Seamless Xtra today.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you.